Hello, hello. Welcome to Epic God Radio. I am your host, Tadal. We got a real good one for y'all today. This is called Winning the Battle versus Winning the War. Okay. And this is about momentary victory compared to long term results. I really think you all are going to like this one today. It's going to give you a lot to think about. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to chime in. I'm right here. I can see you. I'm still working on the number for you to be able to call in. I can't wait to get that going. That way, we can do this live with people, and instead of me actually reading, the questions that you send in, we can talk about it, live. I'll start to give more time on the channel um, once the live starts to go uh, gets going on here. Um, so anyway, I'm not even gonna hold you up. Let's jump right into this. Um, what this is about are the things that we face. What we're putting into our daily lives. We're kind of touching on that again. This is battles on the job that people face. Um, Fighting against injustice in the workplace is one of the things. Sometimes people go through uh, a situation on the job, where they feel like they're being unjustly treated on the job, um, and the situation is not going the way you feel it should go or in your favor, should I say. That happens all the time. You have gender battles, on the job where, uh, they feel like a woman might feel she is being unjustly treated job, asked to do a job that she doesn't see fit for her. They might have her say, "Hey, look, we want you to clean the restrooms," and she's like, "I don't want to go into the male restroom and clean the male restroom. You need to have a male go do that. Well, the office is closed. You need to go in there and clean the male restroom, and I mean, it could be little arguments like that. Some guys they go through um, they've got this big sexual harassment thing that's really huge today, with people, and a lot of guys feel that they're put in certain positions, when it comes down to um, the sexual harassment thing. Women they wear provocative clothing on the job where their body parts are showing. Some females show up to work with tiger paws going up their breast and then in their cleavage area, and the man he might speak about it, and it's like, oh, he's sexually harassing me, so I mean, and it's like, come on, like, be fair about the situation. Not saying that, you should speak on everything you see. There's some things that I've seen that, you just have to shut up and go on. Working in a recovery center, people come in there on drugs. I had to pull a young lady to the side one time. Like, look, you might want to wear a different shirt going into this group. You be disturbing a lot of the guys in there. I mean, you got to look at where people are coming from. You know, so I mean, even in situations like that, that can be hurtful. To a lot of people. You have racial battles on the job, and it happens, like this is stuff that goes on. Um, and it doesn't, just because it's racial, doesn't have to be, white to black. It can be black on black, I had one guy that I was working for a company one time, and I was trying to get home to my children, and he wasn't making it available for me to get home to my kids, and I felt that, that was an injustice, coming at me. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I felt that it was wrong. You weren't making it to where I would get home to my children, and you would turn around and say to me, well, I got to go pick up my daughter. I mean, well, I got to go get my children too. So why would you put me in that position? And then it was like, oh, well, if you don't do this, there's no need for you to show up again, and then this same person wasn't even giving me all of my pay. So when I had to fight for my pay, one of the things was I'm an umpire referee as well. So, if you're not giving me the money that I'm supposed to get on my job, I have things I have to take care of as well. At that time, I said, look, there's other things that I can do. I can go call some basketball or football or softball or baseball games. I don't have to sit up here and, even though you're telling me to, contact someone higher than him to straighten the problem out, I still have those bills that need to be paid. So what I can do is, since you didn't pay me that today, now on my off day, I'm going to go over here and work this other job that I have that I can get the money from to pay that bill. Well, two wrongs don't make a right. Well, I mean, it's not about it being two wrongs. I still have to live. So when it comes down to situations like that, those are the injustices that we're talking about here. And at that point, when you look at it, it's like, oh, okay, the battle is between the two people, but the war is what happens in the end. You know, um, One of the things that I look at today is like battle in business. There's a lot of things going on in business, and I'm going to use record deals here. To show the situation between the battle and the war. The battle. You might have somebody that will say, "Hey, look, we want you to, they have streaming and everything out now, so it's a little different. But this is some of the stuff, excuse me, that was going on before, as far as artists and companies. The artists would sit and they would give an artist an advance, depending on how good you were. I've heard artists get up to $2 million $2 million in an advance, and it's like, oh wow, you got $2 million advance. Well, that's an advance, so you have to cover that, and what they'll do is they'll give you the $2 million advance, and then they'll say, we want to sign you to a 4 record deal. And you'll say, okay, well, cool. In that 4 record deal, what we're going to do is we're going to sell your records at 20 dollars per record. We're going to pay you 25 cents per record. And then you turn around and you sell 10 million, 20 million copies, on that first record deal. So you turn around and you make the $2 million back that you were advanced. They make another $2 million on that. You're paid. You're paid up with them. And you think to yourself, oh man, I'm good with them. Well, no, you're not. You still owe us 3 more records. And you're like, oh well, okay, well, so what are we gonna do here? What do you mean? What are we gonna do? You made a contract with us. You said you were gonna do 3 records, and we were gonna sell your records for $20 a record. You're gonna make 20 cents per record. And you're like, well, that doesn't seem fair, because now you got 3 more records coming from me, and I'm gonna make 10, 15, $20 million, and you're talking about only giving me crumbs out of this for my work. And this is where you have artists that are writing things like Slave, like Prince did on his face. You know, Another one is the movie business. I sat there and when I heard this story, it was wow. It was really, really wild to me. And a lot of you will remember the movie Hustle and Flow. And as I was sitting there and I was listening to Terrence Howard, I couldn't believe what he was saying, you know. And you got a lot of people that be like, hey man, you know, it's his fault. You know, he made that deal. He signed that contract. And true enough, he probably did. But there's a lot of things that you don't understand, you know, when you're walking into this stuff. Terrence Howard made, I think it was $200,000. I want to say, I could be wrong. Maybe 20,000 or 200,000. It was one of them. But however, the character that he played, which was DJ in Hustle and Flow, made 10 million or 20 million, you know, and Terrence Howard like, hey man, y'all owe me some money. And they're like, well, no, we paid you your money. We paid you. We're just gonna say it was 200,000. That sounds like a fair number to me. But they're saying we gave you your 200,000. And he's like, yeah, but you know, I made y'all 20 million. You know, they're like, you didn't make us 20 million. DJ made us 20 million. And he's like, well, that's the character I was playing. So I made y'all 20 million. You only giving me 200,000. Man, I got kids and everything to feed. But this is your contract. DJ is our character. Terrence Howard plays the character we wrote into the script. So you make 200,000. And it's an unfair advantage, man. You know, this is again, this comes down to the battle and the war. The battle is you want to become a musician. You want to become a movie actor. You want to become these things. And the people are like, yeah, you know, we'll help you do that. But while you're fighting the battle to become something successful, is how you look at it, they are looking at your success and they're going to get paid off of your success. We can go even further into that and we can look at, you know, sports, you know, sports figures, you know, um, they win championships. You know, you win a championship for the matter of fact, look back to the Clippers old owner. He made some, you know, racial comments and everything like that, you know, about Magic Johnson and his daughter back in the day. I don't know if you all remember that, but you know, when it came down to it, you play for him. You know, when you go and you are on like football teams or whatever, like you're the player. You work all your life to become this player. And this is why a lot of people, they begin to fight for stuff. Like back when I was growing up, I used to hear the argument from a lot of people that players shouldn't be getting paid as much money as they're getting paid. But you have to look at how much these teams are making from your athletic ability. You know, Michael Jordan was the first player to ever sign a $100 million deal for 1 year. Like, you know, the ink wasn't even dry before he finished his sentence on what he wanted. They were giving it to him. It didn't matter. I think he could have said something higher than that, but he didn't. But you know, yet and still, he's, hey, look, you know, this is what I want. I'm ready to retire. Well, how much is it going to cost for you to come back? You know, one more year, and they're like, you know, and he's like 100 million. The ink wasn't even dry before he finished talking, you know, and you know now, but now, you know, you look at a lot of these people. I can understand the argument that people made back then. I can understand it today when they're saying, "Oh, they're getting paid too much." You know, I mean, because you know, when I was growing up, you know, you didn't have these players jumping teams. I don't want to play over here. I want to go over here and play over here. You know, I was upset one time about, you know, just I'm a Packer fan. And, you know, I don't like the drama. You know, I'm a Packer fan first. Yes, I loved Aaron Rodgers as a football player. I loved him as a quarterback for our team. But when they asked this man, are you coming back to play for the Packers next year? And we're giving this guy, he's got a 4-year, $200 million deal with us. That means you're getting $50 million a year. And your answer is, I'm going to go to a darkness retreat and think about it. I'm ready for you to go. That's just me personally. That's just too much drama, you know. I mean, because you got to understand there was a time where you were making nothing. You were throwing the football just to get into college. You know, a lot of these people now, some of them, some people they come from daddy money, I'm not gonna get into that right now. Y'all already knew I was about to go. But I'm just saying some people come from daddy money, family money, however you want to look at it, so they already have like a silver spoon thing going on. But then you have a lot of people that are coming from neighborhoods. We were just watching um the fire, I think it's called The Fire Inside, the Clarissa Shields story. And my son, I used to box, and he was telling me one time he wanted to box. And I said, look, this comes down to the battle versus the war, and like I told him in the movie, the girl went home one day, opened the refrigerator, there was nothing in it. She opened the drawers, there were nothing in the drawers. I have seen with my own two eyes, coaches get these kids who have nothing. They don't have food to eat or anything. And in order for you to get that steak and potato, if you just go out here and you win tonight, you're going to get these steak and potatoes. And like I tell them, you come to battle, they coming for war. Like, because they're hungry, man. They want to eat, tonight. Like, and then she even had a brother and sister that she was taking care of. So we have to look at, what's going on there too. You winning a medal. And so the war is the person who owns the company, the team. The battle is you getting on that team. So that's your battle, but they've already won the war. You know, Same thing with you look at the Olympics. You have some people that are just they throw their medals and things away, give them up, and they're like, it don't mean nothing. That went on in the Clarissa Shields story. Muhammad Ali went through that, and then on top of that, they come back and they're like, hey, look, we want you to go fight in the war. Why am I gonna go fight in a war against people that's not even trying to oppress me? You my oppressor. You are oppressing me right here. But the thing is, they already won the war. The battle is what we're fighting, So we have to get to a point where we're not fighting that battle anymore. We have to come at it differently. Um, Even back in the day, old war battles. Now when you look at it, there was a time where the sword ruled over the pen. You know, you probably had decrees like back in those days. You had kings and Caesars. People, and they would take and put their ring imprint, imprint on in some clay, and they would bind the letter. And when you got there with the seal, you had to break the seal to read what the king had wrote, but that was what it was. It's what the king is saying, and whether you adhere to it or not is what either caused war, and in those wars you have many battles, and a lot of times people they already knew, hey, look, we're not going to win this battle. I'm going to bring up one that is very familiar as far as even with a culturalistic thing, but Shaka Zulu was a king, and nobody was literally coming into him. Not going to win that. You just were not going to win that fight with guns. We didn't have, it wasn't any of that. I even seen a movie similar to this called The Samurai. With what's the his name? Anyway, he was in Top Gun and all of that. But He was, the samurai, they fought with swords and bow and arrows and things like that. They didn't use guns. Guns and bombs and things like that came later. That was one of those things where, hey, look, we're fighting. We need time. We need time to build these bombs and to be able to shoot them. If we can get this many guns and things together, we can win this. Just hold them off long enough. So time became a factor in a lot of these wars and battles, uh, to go from one extreme to the next. So in needing that, you had to put together a strategy, a conquering strategy to be able to win, that war. And it's the same thing right now. So, you have to look at, okay, so with us being here, what is the overcoming factor here? How do you overcome this? If you know that you are fighting battles, but you're losing the war. You can win this battle over here. There was a revolt in slavery days where they were fighting battles on plantations, and they were winning some of these battles. But as word started getting out, hey, they're revolting, they set up for a war and they're going to end this thing. And this was in the North Carolina region. I'll get to that another day too, because North Carolina is one of the places I've been looking at. But to come through on that is that's what I'm saying. You win the battle, you're happy. Yeah, you won the medal, you're happy. You won the championship, you're happy. But your fight is not over. And this is the way of the world today. And we have to understand, why are we the ones going through it? Why is it, it's us. You got to think, it's no coincidence that you have people like Tupac Shakur, Biggie, Prince, Michael Jackson, people who, they owned the rights to their own music, and they're trying to teach you how to do the same thing. This is how you win the war. When you have people that are teaching you how to win the war, you know, it's no coincidence that these people are killed. They're either killed or they're stripped of the things that they are that they can offer you. And they're taken off the market long enough. I think one of the examples that I used before was what Colin Kaepernick did. He took a knee. And when he took a knee, he was taking a knee against police brutality. But to deflect from that, they used it to say that he was disrespecting the troops. This didn't have anything to do with troops. Same thing with Muhammad Ali. I'm not going over here fighting against some people. No, I'm not doing that. And he's dodging the draft. No, it wasn't that he's dodging the draft. If it was meant for me to fight, then I'll fight. But my fight is not with this man, you know. And but there, that's your fight. You want to fight, but you won't even treat me fair right here. I got my own battle going on with you right here where I live. I have my own battle going on with you. And one of the things that we have to overcome the divide and conquer strategy. This is how you stop fighting the battles and you start winning the war. We have to overcome the divide and conquer strategy. Our culture is the eighth richest nation in buying power. Just last year alone, we spent 1.3 trillion dollars in buying power. Alone. That's out of 226 nations. We were eighth in buying power at 1.3 trillion dollars. You know, other countries are maintaining their lands and their cultures with half of what we have. You know, and that's something to think about. We have the dollars, we just need the cents. You know, so I mean that's what it comes down to. You know, these people have whole countries off of half of what we have. You know, yet we have nothing to call our own. And you wonder why we are sitting here going through, we're losing the war. This is why we're losing the war. Because we won't use our buying power. I talked about this the other day. I thank you, bro. Thank you. But I just talked about this the other day where, we sit up here, we don't have anything, we don't own anything in any of the industries out here. I ride past lumber yards. These are not black owned lumber yards. I ride past horse farms. Man, I was so jealous one time. I was over in Kentucky. I was driving a semi, and this we're talking almost about 5 to 10 acres of land. It could have been bigger, but first the fence was all black, and I'm like, oh man, look at these. These are really nice houses. Then the fence turned white, and I was like, oh wow, And as I kept driving, there was a waterfall in the middle of the property. It was so beautiful. It looked like somebody cut the grass with scissors. And the horse ran around the corner. And I swear, y'all, I swear, it looked like the horse smiled at me and his tooth sparkled at me. I was I was jealous of a horse. I was like, oh man, he living good. Like, and that's, like this is the stuff. We don't own any of this stuff. And it's like, because we're taking our money, and I'm honest about this. I have a shoe problem. I will take my money and I will go to the Nike store in a heartbeat. You hear what I'm saying? And I love shoes, but I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to stop that. I've even found a company called Alive Shoes where you can. My cousin, he hit me to this little company where you can make your own shoes. You can make your own. And I mean, I would rather have my own stuff. I wear my own clothing. And we need to start buying culturally. I mean, look at what's going on. Your man just sat up here and he's going through tariff battles, and now he's mad because these other countries won't bow down to his tariffs. I'm not going to get into the political stuff, but I mean, this is what's going on. And then you have to look at what we're doing with the listen, man, 1.3 trillion. We are eighth in buying power as a culture. And when we sit here, look at what we're doing with our buying power. We're the leaders in unnecessary spending. We're the leaders at this, y'all. We're always buying stuff that we don't need with money that we don't have from people that we don't like to impress people that we don't even know. Like this is what we're doing. We're doing this on a daily basis, everybody. This is what we're doing. The war, it has been it's won right now. The war is being won by them because they're hardwiring into us by connecting happiness to spending, and instead of investing and saving. And that's what we have to get to. We can't sit here and continue to do this. You have to get. You can keep looking at it and keep saying, I'm going to fight this battle. I'm going to fight this battle. I'm going to fight. But when are we going to start looking at how to win the war? You have to get into the fight, not the battle. I mean, and that's how we're going to get at this thing, y'all. You know, um, it's that's the gist of it. We all, you look at everything that's going on. You look at Bill Cosby, how they took him down. uh P. Diddy said something about a satellite, he's gone. Michael Jackson, he owned the whole rights to the Beatles. He bought the Beatles catalog and he started telling people, I think, and Master P said something one time. He said, don't even say nothing else to me. If you're not talking about $250,000 or more, don't even talk to me, man. And at first I was like, Dad, why are you coming at us like that? But I understand. I understand what he's saying today, because what we're doing is we're going for these advances because people they're throwing a little money at us, and don't get me wrong, I mean, it is people all day long, when you come from it's hard for you to make $100. It's hard. They do the same thing with the courthouses. When you sit up here and you come to court, they lock a person up and they put them in the jail for 60 to 90 days. Then they bring you in front of the judge. Hey, okay, we're offering you 5 years. I'm not taking no 5 years for stealing some bubble gum. Okay, send it back to a cell. And you go back. You got to sit in here for another 60 to 90 days to your next court date. And you're like, okay, okay, look, we'll give you 3.5 years. Man, look, it wasn't even that serious, but that you committed a crime, okay, send it. Wait, hold on. Just hold on. Look, I'll go do 2 years, and you start bargaining with your own life. This is what we're doing. So look, people, I'm not gonna hold you up. You know my thing, man. Look, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information. This is Epic God Radio. Please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. I love you all, and most definitely, Jay. Most definitely, you are more than welcome. Please, people, start. Tell your friends about the channel. Like let's get some news across this board, man. Let's get some real stuff, real things that's going on with us right here, right now. If you have suggestions, send them to me. I promise you, I will get to them. And I'm gonna say and bid you all a good night. I love you all. Stay safe, and just keep strong, man. Keep strong.